I know, twice in 2 days. Good for me. So, you may be wondering why we're here again. You may not be. You may have read the fucking title of the video. I don't know. But either way, the reason that I thought that I would make this second video 2 days running was another news story that I saw regarding the increase in parents reporting that their children are suffering from gaming addiction. So, I thought we'd break this down. Now, as you know, I'm a gamer. I've got this gaming channel, right? Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not concerned about the whole gaming culture. The reason being is that anybody that spends any reasonable amount of time on games will be more than aware of some of the predatory mechanisms that they use to ensure they make profit. These are psychological tricks that they use. To give you an example, when I make a kill on Titanfall, it will make the following sound, which is that of a cash register. So the message in the brain, subliminally, that they're sending to you is that that was a profitable thing for you to do, but it wasn't. You were just wasting time. You gaining XP is now seen, or the same messages are sent by the developers when you gain XP as you do when you gain financial profit in the real world. And they use very similar mechanisms to gambling companies in order to get people to constantly put their money in. Loot boxes being a prime example. Now, as I say, I love video games. I've grown up with video games. I've always played them since I was a kid. I started with Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Mega Drive. That was the first stuff that I started playing. And since then, looking at games now, for me personally, these are the best ways that you can enjoy art, because you break that fourth wall. You are involved. You are part of the story. You are playing as one of the characters. It isn't a movie where you're just following someone along. You are the character. You are involved. And in many games these days, the decisions that you make can affect what's going to happen in the game. And some of the storylines in games like The Last of Us are absolutely amazing and can do even more to us than a film can, say, emotionally, and in terms of thinking about the world and our perspective on reality and ourselves. Not to mention the competitive situations that you can get in terms of simulators with football games, with driving games, and play against your mates online or strangers and just have that sort of battle. It's incredibly immersive, and it's a fantastic way for you to enjoy art and to relax and to use your spare time and to unwind. Although that being said, games can wind you up, as many broken controllers and TVs will document and vouch for. But it's indicative of an overall curve in society and the way that we're moving forward in terms of technology and reality. With something like VR, for example, what is already extremely immersive and can be incredibly addictive will only continue to become more immersive and more addictive as even more of our senses are overwhelmed by the technology and what it is that it's trying to display to us and what it is that it's trying to say to us. And we're getting to a stage where we've become heavily reliant on technology in every single way. Recent studies have also shown that people don't access memory and information as well as we used to. We remember where we got the information from. So we remember the phrase we typed into Google to get the answer we wanted last time, but we don't remember the answer. And that's a little bit of a problem. And when we become more reliant than we already are on digital storage. How far away we are from the singularity at this stage is up for debate by people a hell of a lot more intelligent than I am, but there's no denying that even from a layman's idiot point of perspective, which is where I come from, then there's something a little bit dark about the future. and exactly the role that technology and virtual reality and gaming are going to play in the future societies. I've already witnessed firsthand some issues with youngsters losing interest in football through lockdown because they've played so much on their games console that their parents now can't get them off the thing. And lockdown certainly didn't help for a long time. When I was a kid, I mean, don't get me wrong, when I was a kid, I had my PlayStation, I had my Sega Mega Drive, my PlayStation, my PS2, when I was a bit older, my Xbox 360, etc. And now I have a PS4. But it was something to enjoy on a rainy day. If I couldn't go out, if I couldn't do something else, at least I had the PlayStation in my room. Or I could invite a friend round. We couldn't play football outside, so a friend would come round and we'd play together. That dynamic has sort of shifted to the opposite way round, where going out and playing with your friends is something that your parents are sort of forcing you to do to get you away from the technology. And that is in itself a problem. I mean, what effect it's going to have on people's social skills, etc. going forward, I'm not sure. I'm already finding that in society today, mainly on the internet more than face to face, but certainly in terms of trying to have a conversation online, it's become very, very difficult to communicate with people. I think lockdown's had a play on that, and I think that technology and the overall curvature of society over the last sort of decade or so is also playing a big role in that. The question is, of course, what can we do about it? Well, thanks to Sony, they're doing their bit. They didn't actually give anybody a PS5 that wanted one, so they've kind of held it back from society. So, you know, fair play to them for doing their bit, I suppose. But in all seriousness, this concerns me, and I think it should concern other people. I mean, what type of society are we breeding where we're so reliant on technology, and how at risk does that leave us as well? If we lose power, or if we suffer cyber attacks, then that could wipe out all sorts of knowledge, and it could affect people. It could stop people getting food, it could stop them getting water, it could stop them being able to communicate with anybody. And we're just not, now we're not in a position like we were maybe 100 years ago, where we could cope pre-industrial revolution potentially. Now we're so self-reliant on technology that the thought of anything going wrong is quite a scary one and doesn't really bear thinking about. Overall, it's like everything in life. It's all about balance. Now, don't get me wrong, I will probably turn on my PlayStation tonight after a day's work and relax for a few hours. But we have to be careful. We have to be very, very careful, because going down this digital road, it leaves many, many blind spots to physical reality, I think, because we're now starting to ignore physical reality. You've only got to look at news and the culture to see how physical reality and facts are pushed to one side for the betterment of well-being, emotional and mental well-being, and that's just delayed suffering. That's all it is. You're just going to make that problem worse, and we keep doing this, and it's affecting all sorts of areas of society, and it's not something that I'll go into detail in here. If you watch a lot of my videos, you can probably glean the type of things that I mean. But combined with this digital age, the lines between reality and fiction and sci-fi seem to be getting ever smaller. Now, I know I probably sound like the same people that complain about books, and the fact that I'm sitting here ranting to technology about technology is dripped in irony. I get that. However, it's just a way of platforming what needs to be said. And in terms of the video games, etc., it makes you wonder, with all these changes, the way that these things are changing our mind and the way that they work, you do worry for future generations. You combine that with the studies that show that sort of junk food and high vegetable oil diets, whether that's lots of takeaways or whether it's lots of, say, vegan food, these oils close up synapses in the mind and block mental pathways, which is why you often see when you watch these programs of people that are ridiculously overweight and have terrible diets, they're often very angry and very agitated. It's not just down to their situation, although that will be part of it. There's going to be frustration there. It's also down to the diet and what's going on in their minds. And if you combine this with the fact that these people can't get out and exercise, so one of the ways that they entertain themselves is with video games, which is also rerouting what happens in their brain, not to mention the fact that they're probably not getting laid and watching porn, which also reroutes what happens in the brain. You combine all these things together and it doesn't paint a very, very pleasant picture going forward. It's particularly when you see it in youngsters that are teenagers, etc., and you just despair. So let me know what your thoughts are, because I'm not quite sure where I sit on all this. It's a difficult one and I'm still trying to work it out as I'm articulating it, which is why this video may be more thoughtful than funny or to the point, because I'm not there yet exactly where I am on this and where I think it's going and how dangerous I think it could be. But is it time we started paying attention to just how much time kids are spending online and on games consoles, and how is that going to affect the rest of their lives? We need to start understanding this. So let me know what you think. Please just mention down in the comments what your thoughts are, whether you think I'm on point, whether you think I'm way off. As I say, I do get the irony that this is coming from someone that is a gamer, but nevertheless, I eat fast food every now and again. I don't recommend you eat it every fucking day. So is it along those lines? Is it a bigger problem? Is it a smaller problem? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you did enjoy this video and you are thinking about the same sort of things, please drop me a like and a subscribe and a notification. And yeah, hopefully next time I come back it will be with something written, because something hasn't popped up that I need to talk about beforehand, but we'll see. But thanks for watching anyway, guys, and good to have you here. And yeah, take it easy.